Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the 2 episode season finale of Rick and Morty. The first episode of Forgetting Sarek Mortshall, and the second episode of Rick Murai Jack. And I actually enjoyed both of these episodes. They did some interesting kind of character development kind of issues, like definitely with more on well the first episode mainly deals with Morty's side, and the second episode mainly deals with like Rick's side, and then kind of doing its own kind of like weird thing. So the first one deals more in kind of like an episodic nature. We see that Morty is actually going around and trying to fix all of the different kind of like calamities that their adventures have brought on these people, using the portal gun, doing these different kind of things, sometimes even using certain disasters from certain places to help some kind of like problem in another place as well. And we see him like ticking all this stuff off of his phone, but then he gets back to the garage and he sees that he has marked off the portal fluid, so instead he kind of puts like some Mountain Dew in there and pretty much makes it try and look good. But he gets a portal fluid on his hand, and it makes this portal open, and like trash is going everywhere. Rick comes in, is like, "What the fuck's going on here?" We get like this trash goober thing coming out that likes to eat trash and everything. We see that Morty is trying to deal with this one dude who's for some reason got a portal in his thigh and is talking to him, and of course Morty's like, "You know what, Rick? You keep saying that you can replace me. Let's do this." And he spins the wheel, and it's 2 crows, and Morty's like, "Fine, fuck it, whatever." And then decides to leave. And we see that he starts he decides to kind of go a little way a bit, but he starts talking with the Nick dude. That Nick makes it seem like he has been on an adventure with Rick and knows that he's an asshole, and that he gets 2 crows and pretty much trains them. First with food, then with like bird quaaludes. So we see that he's able to do this whole stuff with like using them to do these wires and then like rip people's heads off and whatnot. It's like, okay, he's for this. So Morty then decides to use his like pretty much spaceship bike, because at first Nick's like, "Yeah, I'm an alien, I'm on a different planet, don't try to find me." Goes and he finds that he's in a psych ward. It's like, ah, shit. But Morty breaks in and helps to kind of break him out, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, we could be the Portal Boys," kind of shit. At first he thinks that, yeah, it was Rick just being an asshole, but as they continue going on their adventures, they're pretty much trying to get more portal fluid and using this kind of old, busted up, kind of older version of a portal gun. They kind of deal with this kind of lizard kind of mining colony kind of thing with these crystals, and Nick kind of goes off like a damn psychopath. And Morty's like, "I ain't doing this shit. Screw you, motherfucker." Because he was pretty much using Morty's portal hand to pretty much shoot and kill people, and he's like, "I ain't down with that." And he's trying to like, they had taken Jerry's car at this point to like go further and do their own kind of adventures, while Rick pretty much is going on his own adventures with these crows. And they get to this like ancient tomb, and he's like, "Yeah, I want that thing." And it's like, "Oh, they want to go and help with the empathy, that is the real treasure." Rick's like, "Fuck that shit." Pretty much tries to like land him off onto this avian planet so that way he doesn't have to deal with them. And it gets captured by the crows, and they kind of do this weird mumbo jumbo that training is not needed because there's already been training and shit like that. It's like, wow, okay, you guys have really opened my eyes. And he's pretty much almost on this kind of epiphany kind of path of like not being a dickhole. But of course they get back and they see that he was being an unempathetic asshole to Morty because he didn't feel like he could trust Rick to like tell him about this stuff with the portal gun, or to get him to not be an asshole and leave all these kind of messes behind. And the crows are like, "Fuck this shit," and decide to wreck planet Earth as everything's going on. It's like, oh shit. And then Rick starts like kicking some bird ass, like, "Oh yeah, this is like some dark crystal shit. What's going on in here?" And I gotta admit, they did a really good job of showing these like anthropomorphic crows that can like speak and everything like that, doing all this kind of stuff. And their tech was actually pretty cool looking too, kind of reminiscent of like Phoenix Bird person, but their own kind of spin on it. And they're trying to kind of like figure out what's going on. They're like, screw these people, and they're trying to pretty much get Rick's crows to like turn into themselves, But of course, that's when like Morty pretty much calls him, tells him, "Yeah, I'm sorry about this whole kind of shit." It's like, "Oh, all right, yeah." And they're pretty much Morty on this call pretty much confirms all the stupid shit that Rick's been doing, but he has been trying to treat the birds better. However, they go up, and it makes it look like they're going to be turned into bird. People are going to like fuck him over, but they actually help his ass because they want bird quaaludes. So while that's going on, we get that Morty is attacked by the Nick dude, and he's like, "I want the portal shit, I want to do whatever the fuck I want," kind of thing. Morty, in a badass display, is in a situation that is pretty fucked up, and of course their rebounds are kind of different, and this is a bad rebound for Morty, and he decides to use a train to chop off his hand and then essentially use it to have the portals eat the dude, and he's gone out of existence. He's able to cauterize it, and then flies back as Rick has gotten back together with the crows, regrows his hand, and he decides, you know what, you should have been able to trust me, and I should have been able to trust you. We should have been able to talk about this, and I don't think we should reset. Decides to go off with the crows, and that's where the episode ends. And well, we kind of say goodbye. We get a kind of stinger for the garbage goober thing, and evidently he's got a doctoral degree and all that, and his wife's trying to push him to do the doctor shit, but he's like, "I just fucking like the trash shit." All right. We then get to the next episode, and when I talked about previously when they were pretty much trying to riff on anime and shit, how they open this motherfucker up and kind of like riff on Samurai Jack and like crazy ass anime openings and shit like that. This is what I was talking about, how you fucking commit to it, because it worked out so well. These last two episodes really prove what happens when you're firing on mostly all cylinders. There's some stuff that's going on in that gets like okay in this one, but like this beginning one, this whole joke thing about like hitting on anime and all that shit, Samurai Jack, it worked very well because they executed it. Because we see Rick pop off, he's got this like awesome ass like bird gear and shit, and he's acting like that typical anti-hero anime motherfucker, fucking like chopping people up, fucking using like all these fucking crows to go inside of this owl dude and blow his ass up. It's like, holy shit, and he's looking for this crow scare dude. Alright. We also see the anime opening that just fucking nails it, to where they even have it sung in Japanese with the subtitles going on of what they're saying in Japanese and what they're saying in like the English translation as well. I'm like, yes, I know that's a fucking lot of work, but I applaud it because it works so well and it really forwards the joke. Even the animation style changes up to emulate that kind of shit. It's like, alright. So, in this kind of beginning, we also see that Morty pops up. It's like, "Oh yeah, I was just in the neighborhood, we'll come to say hi." It's like, "Yeah, I hope you do well, Morty." And he kind of like rides off on this like mecha horse. He's like, "Alright, yeah." He's then, of course, like in this bar trying to look for this dude, gets fucking attacked by like this dude that's like the Pussifier? Pussifer. That's what it is. That I appreciate that one. And then of course we see an older Morty trying to make saying that like times past Jerry died of like stage 4 cancer. Summer is like a nurse or whatnot. For some reason he wants a rum and a coke, and people are like the bartender's like, "You fucking idiot." It's like, okay. But Rick is like, "Nope, don't want to go back, I want to do this." And it's like, "Yeah, you've just become obsessed with this. You've been trying to fight this like dude for like 1,000 episodes or whatnot." It's like, "Yeah," because in the last one we pretty much had it seem like, "Hey, yeah, this is the new kind of status quo. Rick and the two crows, yeah, all right." Well, we come to find out that like he's asleep and the crows fly off. We find out that they have been with Crow Scare, and that evidently they had been with Crow Scare even physically, and that Rick was their rebound. Is like, "Yeah, fuck this shit." Goes back to Earth to figure out what's going on. Morty lied and got like an aging serum to kind of fuck with him to get him back. Beth, of course, tries to get it into a kind of better place. between Rick and Morty, but Morty's like, they're both like, fuck it, whatever. So he got it from the Citadel. So they go there, they get to like a build a Morty thing, and they're able to like chop him up and kind of like muck about to like get him back to his normal age. But the thing is, he still has those age, like 26 years or whatnot. And then we get kind of like hipster 26-year-old Morty. And we see that like this golem looking fucking Morty pops out as the cops are trying to deal with them. And they're trying not to get political with it. And it's like, oh, okay. I don't mind. It's just... They're like, yeah, we don't want to get political with this thing and all that. I'm like, I don't mind. It depends upon how it's kind of done. And I'm just like, okay, I kind of get what you're going for on this. I'm just more like, what the fuck is going on with this mutant Morty? And then we kind of get more information on what's going on with that mutant Morty as we got hipster Morty pretty much killed trying to de-escalate the situation. So I'm like, alright. And evidently, President Morty wants to talk with C-137 Rick, and they decide to go. And this is where we start getting into... Well, it's funny because everyone's like, we want to know what's going on with Evil Morty. And we get the kind of lockdown on what's going on with Evil Morty. I actually don't know. They needed some kind of information from this Rick scanning his brain and all that. And then, of course, we get a lot of exposition dumps of what's going on. And he needed this kind of thing. He's able to get that. He's like, oh yeah, I got a screwdriver and all that. And we find out that Ricks like make these Mortys for their own kind of purposes, even like pairing together Jerry's and Beth's to keep this like constant supply of Mortys going. And it's like, holy shit, that's kind of fucked up. And of course, President Morty's like, I want out of that shit. And wants to break through this like kind of finite curve, the central finite curve. It's like, what the hell? And so we get this like badass action scene as Rick's able to kind of like take out most of the guards and everything, shooting at President Morty, but of course he's got like a barrier up. It's like, yeah, fuck you, man, eat my ass. They go through. Morty is able to use the kind of like device so that way he can get the information that he needs. We see that Rick did lose his wife to another Rick, and we see him go upon this whole path, and it kind of stitches together all the kind of information that we've seen before. It's like, okay, that's pretty cool. It's like, yeah, dead wife, there we go, everybody's gonna stop talking about it. So it was funny that we actually got the information we needed, and even a throwaway joke line of like, yeah, fucking stop talking about it now. And it's alright, as we see that he's trying to get this Rick down. It's like, I almost thought there was going to be another twist at the end that was actually a future Rick, and that he had become that kind of thing, but that's not where they went. I didn't need that. It just kind of was like, okay, I don't know if they're telegraphing that or not, but evidently not. I'm like, okay, that would have been an interesting twist, but I kind of like this one of him trying to deal with what's going on in the Citadel. And evidently he's pretty much like using the Citadel to break through because of course there's an infinite amount of universes, but they use what they're doing within the curve to kind of like section themselves off, because if there's it almost reminded me of Loki with like the multiverse kind of exploding and everything, and this Morty just wanted to get the fuck out of it and utilize pretty much all the Ricks and Mortys and all the portal fluid in the Citadel to blast his way out, even taking out certain death stopping protocols such as like the clone bodies and using them for some reason. It was more of an excuse to like just have wanton destruction, death, and mayhem going on, I believe. That's at least what I got from it. But we see that our Rick and Morty are able to get through and blast off a section that's got some Mortys and everything, as our Morty gets through and is able to use his yellow portal gun to like go through like the infinite universe. So I really liked how they kind of did that together. It was interesting that we had our more kind of episodic kind of episode first, which then actually did dovetail into more of our canonical kind of thing going on, and had a pretty interesting kind of dealing with President Morty and how he's evil because of all this shit that was kind of going on and just kind of wanted out. Now, granted, the way he didn't probably need to kill all those people. He probably could have found a way to do what he needed to do, even though he probably needed some of the information that our Rick had, because he's the Rickest of Ricks, and pretty much was like going on an assassination spree before he pretty much made the Council of Ricks to kind of like I guess, make it easier for him to live by himself and also try and keep tabs of that fucking asshole that killed his wife. So I did really like these two booking ending season 5. Overall, the season I thought was okay. I liked some of the jokes that were going on. Some of them didn't hit for me for a majority of the time. And I still am interested in seeing where the show goes and everything. And I understand that sometimes a show has a season that doesn't really click for you. Now, the problem gets into the effect of if that happens consecutively. Now, sometimes it's just you don't find it as funny or whatnot. Or you just don't connect with all the stories that are being told. That's fine. You sometimes outgrow shows. Other times, there's deep structural issues that's like, I can't believe this is going on. Lore's being destroyed. Characters are being fucking annihilated. And I really don't care what's going on anymore. That has not happened here. More of it is just like, okay, I thought they could have done this better or went full ham on something and actually really delved into a certain joke or really executed it better. I don't think it went completely balls wild and decided to completely fuck up the central concept. I think that it did a good job of exploring certain things and trying new different kinds of jokes and ways to tell them. And even though that doesn't hit all the time for me, I like that kind of experimentation to kind of see where it kind of goes. So that way, yes, I do like certain things about Rick and Morty, but you also have to fight it getting stale. So those are my opinions on this season finale episodes. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked them, if you didn't like them, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.